Hello YouTube, my name is Nero and today we have some Battlefield 4 and we're actually playing a bit of domination here. So the gameplay is pretty freaking fun. So basically my friend Zach realized I was playing Battlefield 4 again because he saw me playing on the new DLC, and then he's like, hey, do you want to play some Battlefield 4? I'm like, sure, but he didn't have any of the DLC. So we started playing some domination and we started playing on like the original stock maps that came with Battlefield 4, like the same maps I was playing 3, 4, 5 months ago or whatever when the last time I was playing Battlefield 4. And it was amazing. It was like going back to my old stomping grounds and just doing really, really well. And so I have a bunch of Battlefield 4 gameplay for this week's episode of Dear Nero. Although I am pretty positive. I know I'm on to you guys. I know what you guys are doing because I do the same damn thing. On longer videos like this, you don't really watch the video, do you? You have it in a different tab while you're doing something else. And you're listening to it as kind of almost as if it's music or like a podcast while you're playing a game or doing homework or doing something else, watching a stream or something. That's what you're doing right now. I know that's what you're doing. I'm on to all of you. But those of you guys that are watching the gameplay, it's some pretty freaking good stuff, and I think you guys will enjoy it. I tried to use a different gun in every single video as well, so hopefully you guys can all check it out and enjoy that. But welcome to this week's episode of Dear Nero, which of course is the weekly series here on my channel where subscribers send me in fan mail and or fan questions, and I do my best to go ahead and answer those questions. The first question, we're just going to hop right into this, comes from a guy named David in California, and he's going to write, Dear Nero, from all the maps in Call of Duty history, they picked Pipeline, probably my least favorite map in Call of Duty. It's just so dark and hard to spot people. There's so many campers in corners, and the way it was played, it was just so slow, boring, and frustrating. Why not remake Rust? Turn it into an exo training facility gone bad. Afghan, a desert future city with a giant crashed ship in the middle for some reason. Terminal, make it so there's a giant robot manufacturing place that could probably tie into a co-op mode. Bog, once again, make it a thriving future city destroyed by the fighting and war. Or even Backlot, a new city that was in the middle of building, abandoned due to the war and some nature earthquakes or something like that goes off every 4 to 5 minutes. But Pipeline? Why Pipeline Sledgehammer? David from California. So David here is quite upset that the pre-order bonus map for Call of Duty Advanced Warfare is going to be Atlas Gorge, which is going to be a remake of the Call of Duty 4 map Pipeline. And I said it in my video when I talked about the news, Pipeline was a pretty bad map. There's a few of you, there's like 1 or 2 of you out there, they're like, I like Pipeline, Pipeline's cool. But most people don't like Pipeline. It's not a very good map. I think the reason they chose it, I read this in a comment and it made sense to me, and now I kind of formed it as an opinion, that the reason they chose Pipeline, and when they do bring back maps, and the maps that are actually going to be built within Advanced Warfare are going to be built specifically to kind of work with the exoskeleton being able to jump 20 feet in the air ability. I think that's one of the reasons that they're really going to be going with that, because one of the big things about Pipeline was the roof. The rooftop was a pretty frequented area. People were always up there on top of that second-story building that I showed you guys in the walkthrough, and people are always up there. And now we're just going to be able to jump up onto that roof from the ground. Or maybe we'll have to get on top of the truck, and then we can jump all the way up there. Yeah, the whole point of the map, apparently, is to explore the verticality of the map. And that's what they're going to be doing, I feel like, with a lot of the Advanced Warfare maps. But I totally agree with you that they picked a pretty awful map for a pre-order bonus. It's not going to be that great. It's Pipeline. Like, I'm not even excited to get it. Like, when they announced that Nuketown 2025 was going to be a thing for Black Ops 2, and when they announced that Nuketown Zombies, of all things, was going to be a thing, like a pre-order bonus or something you got with like a special edition of the game, I freaked, man. I was like, what? Nuketown Zombies and another Nuketown just built right into the game? Because even if the maps suck, we still at least have Nuketown, you know? And yeah, I was really excited for the pre-order bonuses of Black Ops 2, even though I didn't pre-order it. But I still like the bonuses you got with Black Ops 2. I'm not excited about the pre-order bonus map for Advanced Warfare. The new weapons and stuff, maybe those would be cool, but the entire idea of, oh, well, we're bringing back Pipeline. Not that excited for. Then again, maybe it'll turn out well. Maybe they're right. Maybe they know what they're doing with these giant jumping exoskeleton, freaking 20 feet in the air turbo boots, and maybe it'll work out pretty well. Who knows? We'll have to see. Next question, he writes, Dear Nero, as a Call of Duty fan, I was very disappointed by the DLC for Call of Duty Ghost, but I think that they could have done a lot better. So on a scale of 1 to 10, what would you rate Ghost DLC as a whole? From John in New York. So John, when I try to rate things 1 through 10, which is such an arbitrary thing, but at the same time, when I try to rate 1 through 10, like the number that just immediately jumped into my mind, like my gut feeling here, and it's the feeling I'm going to give you guys, it's probably a 4. Something along them lines. I think Fog was one of the best maps in not even just Call of Duty Ghosts, but I think Fog itself was one of the best maps in Call of Duty history. I think it was just, I think it played pretty well. I love the theme of it. I think it had the best theme of any Call of Duty map just about ever. I mean, Fog was pretty freaking good. And I like that map a whole ton. I like the fact they brought in the Maverick rifle. That was pretty cool. I like the fact that they brought in the Ripper submachine gun / assault rifle hybrid. I thought that was pretty cool too. That I liked even better, where recently they made it so you can just buy those guns rather than buy the entire DLC. Of course, they kind of inflated the price. I think it's like, what, $5 for each gun? But at the same time, you end up saving $10 if you really don't want the maps, because in my opinion, a lot of the maps just aren't really worth your money. Yeah, I haven't done my review on the new Nemesis DLC. We'll be doing that soon, so I'm not talking about the Nemesis DLC while I'm answering this question. I'm just ignoring. I'm acting like Nemesis doesn't exist right now, and I'm basically talking about the first 3 DLCs. And yeah, I mean, they weren't that good, right? Especially Devastation. Devastation was atrocious. But the first one wasn't so bad, then the second one was awful, and the third one was pretty bad. And now we're on the fourth one, which I'm yet to do a review of, and we'll be seeing that in a future video. But yeah, I think the DLC could have been a lot better. The DLC maps that they brought back, they ruined one way or another. They brought back, the DLC maps they brought back were actually some really cool ones, right? So they brought back Shipment, they brought back Scrapyard, and then they brought back Favela. Favela, those are all maps that a lot of people, I think, liked, especially during Modern Warfare 2, where they liked it just in Call of Duty in general. They were all relatively good maps. What they did to Shipment was a travesty by adding the entire outside to it. That was just bad. What they did with Scrapyard didn't really affect it too much. They had that entire underground section, though, and that definitely made it weird. And it's never really felt the same as it did during Modern Warfare 2. And not even necessarily because of the underground section. It just didn't feel the same. Just because of the way the map looked and how hard it was to spot people at the end building. It's like, something about the map, man. Something about the map I just not enjoy as much as I enjoyed during Modern Warfare 2. Probably because in Modern Warfare 2 we had UAV as well as amazing kill streaks. And Favela, I think they did right. I think Favela, they didn't really change it at all. They changed like paint on the walls and stuff. That's all they really did. They keep a kind of a World Cup theme, and that's really all they did to Favela, which is pretty cool. They didn't change around the map. I was definitely a big fan of that. But overall, I'd say the DLC in Call of Duty Ghosts has been pretty much a disappointment. I agree with your statement. There hasn't been anything mind-blowing like kind of what we did with Black Ops 2. I think Black Ops 2 is some of the best DLC we've ever seen in Call of Duty. Next question, he writes, Dear Nero, and this one makes me cringe almost. Dear Nero, I've been trying to get into YouTube, but my upload speed is horrible. 3,500 minutes for an 8-minute video to upload. I have an Alienware X51. They have some bad reviews, but it's supposed to be a nice PC. I really don't know what to do. Any help would be appreciated. Blake from Kansas City. Kansas City. All right, Blake. So I understand that this kind of question is not exactly easy, I think, for some people to understand, maybe. Especially older people don't really get this kind of thing. Your computer has nothing to do with your upload speed. 0. It's all about your actual internet connection is what determines your upload speed. And the fact that you say it's going to take you 3,500 minutes, which is, I think I did the math, but I probably did it wrong. So is that 3,500 minutes? Is that close to the equivalent of like a day or two to upload an 8-minute video, right? You live in Kansas City, dude. You have Google Fiber. You can get Google Fiber. It's gigabit internet. 100 down, 100 up, and it's $70 a month. To put that in perspective, I'm paying $120 a month. And I'm getting 30 down and 3 up. You could pay $70 a month, which is $50 less, and get 70 more download and 97 more upload than what I've got. So if you live in Kansas City, I suggest getting Google Fiber. How do you not know about Google Fiber? But yeah, your PC has 0, literally nothing to do with your internet speed. It doesn't. What your PC does, like how that works with YouTube, is that's for rendering out your videos. If that's maybe what you're talking about, maybe it takes you a really long time to be able to render out an 8-minute video. But an Alienware X51, while it's not the best PC in the world, it's not bad. I actually looked up the specs on it. It's not that bad. So you shouldn't be taking, a day or two to render out an 8-minute video, which that's how it was for me when I started my YouTube channel. Does anyone know about that? Let's talk about Nero for a minute. When I first started YouTube, my PC was a home PC that you bought at Walmart, and it was 5 years old at the time. When I wanted to make a 10-minute video, it literally took me 24 hours to render out that video. I think, actually, no, the longest it took me was 24 hours because for whatever reason the render was really slow that day. But for the most part, a good rule of thumb for me when I was doing YouTube when I first started was every minute of video that was in that video, I could roughly expect about an hour to render out 1 minute. So if I made a 10-minute video, it's going to take about 10 hours to render out. Whereas now I can make a 10-minute video and it's going to take 10-15 minutes, something like that. I've of course upgraded my PC over my time here on YouTube, and so yeah, that's how I started on YouTube. That's how I made all of my videos for the first July, August, September, October, November. For the first 7 months of my YouTube channel, I did that. Then I got a new Walmart PC, which again was not good for rendering, but it was a bit better than the one that was so old, so it only took me, I'm gonna say, 4 hours or so to render out a 10-minute video, and then I did that for about a year. So for like almost 2 years, I was using a PC that would take me hours upon hours upon hours just to render out a 10-minute video, yet I still have like nearly 1,400 videos on this channel, 600 something on Nero's Let's Plays. That's nearly 2,000 videos total on YouTube, and I'm going to say half to 3/4 of that was done on those PCs. So no excuses to any of you out there trying to start a YouTube channel, but I don't have the time to do it, or it's too hard, or my renders are too long. No excuses. No excuses to any of you. Next question, he writes, Dear Nero, would you ever get a PlayStation 4 for exclusives like The Last of Us Remastered or the Uncharted series, or would you just not get one at all? From Killa Kip. So Mr. Killa Kip, I'm going to tell you this, man. I get questions all the time about getting a PlayStation. I got them all the time for getting a PlayStation 3. I still get them now about getting a PlayStation 4 because people want to do open lobbies and stuff. The thing of it is, guys, it's a $400 console. And while $400 is within the price range, it could happen. I'm not going to get $400 worth of use out of the thing. You know, I'm not going to spend $400 to buy a PlayStation 4 so that I can play The Last of Us. You know, that doesn't make any sense. I would need a ton upon ton upon ton upon ton of games to want to play. And even at that point, buying those tons upon tons upon tons of exclusive games is going to add on to the price of that. You know, $60 a pop for most of them, and some of them I guess would be cheaper. But yeah, that would be quite an investment just to play a few games that, let's be honest, I have enough games to play right now on my 360, my Xbox One, and my PC. So, PlayStation 4, I really don't think I'm ever going to get a PlayStation. I did buy a PlayStation 3 several years ago. I had it for a week, then I took it back because it just wasn't for me. I at the time was wondering if I maybe wanted to transition from the 360 to the PlayStation 3. Then I decided, no, it's not really for me. Yeah, I went and played the PlayStation 3 for like a week or so. I was like, I like the 360 more. And so I went back to the 360 because that's where I was comfortable. That's where I was used to. And that's where all my friends were playing. And I don't even know anyone on the PlayStation. So I wouldn't want to get one. Next question, he writes, Dear Nero, what do you think Infinity Ward did right with Call of Duty Ghosts? Keep up the great videos. Omar from Chicago. So Omar, I brainstormed this for a few minutes before answering this question here, and I think if I were to spend more time, I could probably point out some more things. But there are a few things I think that what Call of Duty Ghosts did that was pretty awesome, and I think they should do with every Call of Duty game. Alright, so number one, I love the fact that when you get a chem strike and you call it in, it destroyed the map. Even if it was only on Strike Zone, which was the only map that actually did this on, I like that feature, and I think with the popularity of the Moab, the popularity of the nuke, and the popularity of the chem strike, I feel as though most Call of Duties, it'd be kind of stupid if they didn't. I can understand if Treyarch didn't do it because they never do it, but Infinity Ward and Sledgehammer games, I feel as though going forward they should have some form of Moab, some form of chem strike in their game, right? Just because people think it's fun to watch, it's fun to go for, it's fun to get, it's a win-win really for everybody, and it's just a hidden kill streak that everyone has all the time that anyone can really acquire if you do go on that streak, you know? So I think they should have those going into games in the future, and I feel as though if you call in a chem strike, you call in a Moab, every single map that comes out should have a blown-up version built onto it. You know, if they're developing Advanced Warfare, next-gen first, and we're really trying to innovate Call of Duty to the point where we're jumping 20 feet in the air, I think we can innovate it just a little bit where you basically take a bomb and just blow up the map or something like that, and then whatever's left, you call that the map. I don't even think it would necessarily be that hard to put together, to be perfectly honest. Is take every map, that just blow it all to bits and pieces, and then there's your new map. So I would like it if every game going forward, when you call it in a Counter Strike, you call it in a Moab, that the map itself would actually change, similar to what they do with Strike Zone and Call of Duty Ghost. I remember actually when the game first came out, that we saw Strike Zone, and we thought, all of us thought that on every map it was like that. You know, every time you called in a Counter Strike, the map would blow up and change, and we all thought that every map would be like that. But of course it isn't, and it's only that way for Strike Zone. Another thing that COD Ghost did pretty well was DLC weapons. I thought those were pretty cool. They added us the Maverick and the Ripper, which are both very good guns in my opinion. And then what I think they did even better than that was they gave us the ability to purchase them without even purchasing the entire DLC. Of course, like I said earlier in the video, they're kind of inflated prices, $5 for just one gun. But if you factor in the fact that DLC itself is $15 and you don't want those other maps and stuff, I guess you could do it and you end up saving yourself $10 in the long run. Whereas before, you would purchase a $15 DLC, and if you didn't like the maps, you would just not play them, and you would just, use the guns. You basically paid $15 for a gun, whereas now you can pay $5. I think that was a pretty cool thing. But aside from that, I'm having a real hard time thinking up some things that Call of Duty Ghosts did right that Modern Warfare 3 or Black Ops 2 didn't do better. They ended up changing around the minimap. Wasn't a big fan of that. I think the kill streaks in Call of Duty Ghosts were pretty lackluster, all things considered. I didn't like the time to kill. I guess the weapon variety was pretty good in Call of Duty Ghosts. That's one of the things Infinity Ward usually does well, because Infinity Ward games usually, the time to kill in those games as compared to Treyarch is definitely really, really low. So I feel as though most of the guns were balanced. I think that's kind of a factor of the fact that the guns kill very, very quickly, and that's just how the game works. I think it was kind of a lackluster year for Call of Duty, to be honest. I think just about everything, with the exception of a few things, both Modern Warfare 3, Black Ops 2. I think most of the Call of Duty games do what Ghost does, but better. So I don't know. It's kind of a lackluster year in Call of Duty, in my opinion. Next question, he writes. Dear Nero, did you play Battlefield 3? And if so, did you enjoy it more than you enjoyed Battlefield 4? Keep up the great work and have a great day. Tony from Michigan. So Tony, I'm not in like the big Battlefield community, if you will. I'm sure there's an entire community out there of people that are similar to what we are with Call of Duty. We talk about, but just like with the last question, I'm like, oh yeah. So Ghost was okay, but I feel as though a lot of things in Ghost, Black Ops 2 did better. Or even going back to Modern Warfare 3, I feel as though they did same thing Ghost did, but better. We're sitting there discussing the games from years past, and I feel as though there's an entire Battlefield community that's like that, and there's probably people like, oh, Battlefield 3 was so much better than 4 because of this, and that, but I'm not in that community. I play a lot of Battlefield 4. I played definitely more Battlefield 4 than I played Battlefield 3, although I think I did put a day or so of playtime into Battlefield 3. I do enjoy Battlefield 4 more, and the reason for that is, alright, so they add Domination, which I think was just a fantastic overall game mode. I think one of the big reasons I like Battlefield 4 over Battlefield 3 was the fact that I'm playing it on the Xbox One now, as compared to playing it on the Xbox 360. You look at like just the graphics, side-by-side comparison almost, if you will, of Battlefield 4 on the Xbox One versus Battlefield 3 on the Xbox 360. That's like day and night, man. It's like, wow. There's a big difference there, While there is some fond memories in Battlefield 3, I did like a lot of the guns in that game. I did play a bit of Bad Company 2 as well, but while there is some fond memories on those games, I do feel as though Battlefield 4 I've had the most fun on. I like the weapon variety a ton in there. It's definitely the farthest I've ever leveled up. I'm still making my way up to level 100. I really enjoy it. I really enjoy Battlefield 4. I think it's definitely an awesome, awesome game. Next question, he writes. Dear Nero, I need help. My family is agricultural based, and I love both agriculture as well as gaming, and I want to pursue YouTube, but I haven't launched my channel yet. Any advice other than the cookie cutter follow your dreams would be appreciated. Derek from Illinois. So Derek, you want to start your YouTube channel, and you're thinking you can make an entire career out of YouTube, where your family, is this right, lives on a farm? You say your family's agricultural based. That says to me you live on a farm or work for farmers or something like that, right? My friend growing up, my best friend actually lived on a farm, and he's kind of pretty. He loved it. He loved it. He loved doing hay every summer. He loved splitting wood in the winter. He loved raising horses and pigs and chickens. And chickens are freaking evil. Did you guys know that? A little quick story. Chickens are evil. Like when one of the other chickens in like a big group gets sick or something like that, the other one just kind of like peck at it and like rip its feathers out and stuff. Like chickens are freaking nuts. Makes me feel good about eating them. So you want to start your YouTube channel, all right? Here's the thing. If you want to start YouTube, I encourage anyone who wants to start YouTube to start their YouTube channel. It's very, very fun. But I do not, and I never will encourage any of those people to start the YouTube channel to pursue it as a career or a business. Because there's a lot of people out there that say, yeah, what? I'm going to start my YouTube channel and join the YouTube business. Now I'm going to do well in that business, and it's going to be... None of those people are around. None of those people are left. There's people that have started that. They start their YouTube channel. Their entire purpose for starting their YouTube channel is, I'm going to make money on the internet. none of those people are around. Because if you don't actually lack an actual passion for what it is you do, and you don't really enjoy yourself here on YouTube, and you just don't know what you're doing, you're not just going to be able to hop in like, oh, dude, all they do is play video games. I'm going to hop in there, I'm going to play video games like everyone else, I'm going to make all kinds of money. That's not how it works. It's really not how it works. And when you start your YouTube channel, I suggest you start it. And if you do start it, I want you to start it because you actually enjoy YouTube. You enjoy whatever game or whatever it is you're going to post. Maybe you're a Battlefield guy. You want to make Battlefield videos. Maybe you want to do a field manual series similar to what I did here on my channel, which I think I love my field manual videos. Even going back to them now, I think they're really good. You want to start doing Call of Duty stuff. You want to start doing Let's Play style stuff. Whatever it is you want to do, you have to do it because you enjoy it, right? And when you start your channel, you have to realize it's going to take you a very, very long time to get anywhere. Yeah, I've been doing YouTube for 3 years now, over 3 years, and I've just now reached where I'm at just under 250,000 subs and 30 million views. And I was extremely lucky along the way. There are other people that have uploaded just about as many videos as me that are nowhere near as lucky as me. And that's a big part of it. It's not easy. I think a lot of people have this perception that all you gotta do is just, be mediocre at a video game, make mediocre videos, put them up on YouTube, then you're just gonna do rather well. That's really, really not the case. So I suggest to you, Derek from Illinois, as well as to anyone else out there who wants to start their own YouTube channel, start because you actually enjoy it. If you start just because you have an idea like, oh, I'm gonna get partnered and do really good, it's not gonna work out that way because you're probably not even gonna have 1,000 subs after your first year of doing YouTube. It's gonna take you a very long time to start to grow. It's gonna be pretty difficult for a lot of people. So start because you like it. It's gonna take you a long time to grow, but just continue to do it and do it as a hobby and do it for fun. If it ever does present itself to be a situation where, okay, I'm getting this amount of views per month now, I have this many subscribers, I think now would be a great time to look into a partnership, and then you get partnered with some network out there, Full Screen or Machinima or whatever, there's a million of them out there now apparently, whatever network you decide to go to, you can finally get partnered, then maybe you can start making some side money from your YouTube channel. But I still say continue doing whatever job or going to school, whatever it is you're doing. And then if you just continue doing YouTube as kind of like a side thing, and then eventually YouTube it grows to the point where you can make a living off of it, then maybe you do that. Maybe take a leave of absence from your job. Maybe you just leave your job on good terms. So, you're going to say, I'm going to go pursue this dream of mine. And if it doesn't work out, I'd like to be able to come back, you leave on good terms, stuff like that. You can do that kind of thing. But just simply, starting YouTube, like, okay, I'm going to start my YouTube channel because I hear they make millions of dollars every year. That's not the case. It's really not the case. Next question, he writes, Dear Nero, if Call of Duty Advanced Warfare turns out to be a lot like Titanfall, could it be in the running for the worst Call of Duty ever? Keegan from Idaho. So Keegan, here's the thing. I developed an entire theory upon this, and I hope you stick with me on this. Advanced Warfare is not going to be Call of Duty. It's not going to be Call of Duty, and you should not expect Advanced Warfare to feel like a Call of Duty game. I've actually been super disappointed by looking at all the things we see with Advanced Warfare. I see it, I'm like, really? Fucking, we're jumping 20 feet in the air now. We got laser guns. It's like, why are they doing this? I'm going to have so much frustration within this game because it is so different than any other Call of Duty we've ever seen before. And then I kind of had the revelation where it's like, fuck it. I don't care. It's not going to be Call of Duty. Okay. I'm not even going to try to compare it to other Call of Duty games. I'm basically going to look at this game as if it's Titanfall without the cool wall running and without the Titans. Because that's basically what Advanced Warfare is going to be. And I think if I go into it with that mindset and I realize I'm not even trying to compare, I'm not going to try and compare it to my nostalgic feels of Modern Warfare 2 and COD 4 and World at War or even Black Ops or Black Ops 2 or anything like that. I'm not going to compare it to any of those things. I'm going to treat it as if it's some random game that everyone's playing. It's gonna be that. I'm just gonna act like it's a random game. I'm just gonna pretend it's like a random game. I'm not gonna try and compare it to other Call of Duty games because I think if you try to compare Advanced Warfare to like Black Ops 2 or even Call of Duty Ghost or anything like that, you're gonna be super disappointed because it's not gonna play anything like those games. And I think if we all go into it with that mindset, then we're probably gonna enjoy it. And that's what I'm gonna do with Advanced Warfare. But yeah, it has the potential to be like the worst Call of Duty game ever, just because it's not Call of Duty. It's so not Call of Duty that I'm sitting here, however many months before the game even comes out, saying, don't act like it's a Call of Duty. Don't even try and pretend it's a Call of Duty. Go in there thinking it's Titanfall without the Titans, and then you'll probably be able to enjoy it. Like we're developing game plans here to try and figure out how to enjoy this game. And yeah, I think that really speaks to how excited I am for Advanced Warfare. Next question, he writes, Dear Nero, in my eyes, next year is the ultimate showdown between 343 Industries, which is going to be making Halo 5, DICE, which is going to be making Battlefield Hardline, and Treyarch, who is going to be making a future Call of Duty, possibly Black Ops 3. It's going to be a huge year in gaming, and I think that 343 Industries will win the battle because Halo is always so innovative with every single title. Although there's not much info to feed off of, which company or game do you think is going to take the crown next year in terms of sales and quality of the game, and why? Love your videos, and I'm a fairly new subscriber. Keep up the awesome work. Sincerely, Guru from Virginia. So, Mr. Guru, let's talk about this here. So, I've actually got some numbers for you that may shock you a little bit. To compare apples to apples, we're going to judge Halo 4, Call of Duty Ghost, and Battlefield 4 off of Xbox 360 sales, because Halo 4 only came out for the Xbox 360, right? It didn't come out on the PS3 or PC or anything like that, so it's kind of unfair to compare the total sales numbers for Ghost and Battlefield 4 versus Halo 4 that only came out on one platform. So Halo 4, surprisingly to me actually, sold 9 million copies on the Xbox 360, which is all the copies it sold total because it's only available there. That's quite a lot of copies, way more than I thought it would have sold. I pictured something along the lines of 4 million, 5 million, but 9 million, that's pretty good. Call of Duty Ghosts on the Xbox 360 has also sold roughly 9 million copies, which is actually pretty bad. It's actually the worst selling Call of Duty since World at War in 2008. And Battlefield 4 on the Xbox 360 sold 3 million copies, which is pretty low. So the sales numbers on just the 360 were actually pretty comparable. But then if you actually factor in the rest of Battlefield 4 sales numbers and the rest of Call of Duty Ghosts' sales numbers, Battlefield 4 sold roughly 10 million total, and Call of Duty Ghosts sold roughly 22 million total, which once again is the worst selling Call of Duty since World at War in 2008. Halo kind of looks small in comparison because of that. And I understand that, it's kind of unfair, once again, to say, well, you can't really judge, Halo on the Xbox 360 versus Ghost on the Xbox 360 and the PS3 and the PC and the Xbox One and the PlayStation 4. You're not comparing apples to apples when you do that. You're doing like apples to like pears at that point. But at the same time, I still feel as though the number of people that play Call of Duty is still just so much more than what you're going to get for Halo. I understand that now Halo has a possibility, especially here with next gen, that Halo can actually change into something really cool, or you can get what we're getting with Advanced Warfare, where Halo 5 could be something that's completely different than the Halo series, and a lot of people can be disappointed by that. I'm not a big Halo guy, but from what I can tell from the community, Halo Reach was kind of a disappointment, apparently. To people that liked Halo 2 and Halo 3. Of course, once again, I know nothing of this. If you're a Halo guy, answer that me in the comments. That would be great. But from what I've heard from people, it was like a giant disappointment because it was nothing like the old games. It was so noob-friendly. It was that kind of a game. And I still feel as though that, Call of Duty is going to be the king. Battlefield, surprisingly, I was really surprised to learn this. Battlefield 4 only sold 10 million copies across all platforms. Next-gen consoles, 360, PlayStation 3, and PC. 10 million copies. That's not really a lot. Then you look at what they're doing with Battlefield Hardline. Not a lot of people are digging that theme. Me personally, I think it's kind of a cool theme, but I can definitely see it getting old very quickly. One of the things I like about Battlefield, even to this day, hopping in Battlefield 4, man, is like, you hop in there, and let's say I'm playing a game like Conquest on like Parasol Storm or something like that, and we're running there, and it's all nice and beautiful, we're capturing some flags, we're taking down some enemies, we're moving about, we're doing our thing, then suddenly the freaking hurricane hits, the map completely changes, it gets completely different, and it starts getting creepy out there, then people start dying, I'm Rambo reviving, trying to get people back in there, I'm throwing down med packs, we got people dropping me ammo, we got recon guys sitting there dropping in spawn beacons. It's a really intense, really cool, it always gives you this feeling of I'm in a war. It's kind of what you get from the Battlefield series. And then you got Battlefield Hardline, which is a over-glorified game of cops and robbers. Once again, I think it's going to be fun for a little bit, but I think it's going to be like Titanfall, where it's going to be a gimmick. And that gimmick is going to wear off on a lot of us pretty soon, if I had to make a prediction about Battlefield Hardline. They also have already delayed Battlefield Hardline into 2015, where it was originally slated to come out around the same time as Call of Duty did. Advanced Warfare does this coming November. So, yeah, I mean, I'm worried about what they're going to do with Battlefield, and of Halo and Battlefield and Call of Duty. Battlefield's actually the least selling, and I'm still going to say Call of Duty is going to be the big one because it's Call of Duty. And the fact that it's going to be a Treyarch game, think of it that way. And so a lot of people are disappointed by Call of Duty Ghosts, which once again, Call of Duty Ghosts is the worst selling Call of Duty since World at War in 2008, and it's also the least played. If you look at that, and then you compare it to what we're going to be having with Advanced Warfare, where it could be either really, really cool and really innovative, or it's going to be just a giant flop. It could be that. At that point, if it does flop, then we're going to have two disappointing Call of Duties in a row, and then Treyarch's going to come and save the day. And I think a lot of people, regardless if you're going to get hype from YouTube, you're going to get hype from websites, you're going to get hype from everybody, revolving around this new Treyarch game, assuming it's Black Ops 3 or whatever. And I think it's going to be a great game. It's a Treyarch game. Treyarch is definitely the best out of the developers for Call of Duty, and I think a lot of people agree with that now. Back in the day, people were like, oh no, Infinity Ward is so great. And I was always like, no, Treyarch is so much cooler, so much better, way better developer. Now everybody just about, and except for the 2 or 3 guys that are going to write in the comments, I like Infinity Ward better. Most people, except for those guys, say that Treyarch is the better developer. And I guess the numbers, the fact that more people are playing Black Ops 2 than Call of Duty Ghosts, kind of speak to that. But yeah, so when the next Treyarch game comes out, it's going to be huge. As well as, I guess Halo 5 is going to be huge as well. But I think the Treyarch Call of Duty is still going to be king. Next and final question, he's going to write, Dear Nero, with the announcement of the Titanfall DLC, I was remembering back the good old days when Titanfall was supposed to be the Call of Duty killer. And then I was thinking about the final Call of Duty and what it might be like if Activision were to make at least one last one. My personal opinion is they should do something similar to Call of Duty Online, except on a much bigger scale. What do you think that they would do? From Golden Panda. Well, Mr. Golden Panda, so, alright, so first and foremost, I remember, oh man, so I've done Dear Nero, right? I've done it every week for years now, almost 2 years. And a lot of the questions I got every single week back before the launch of Titanfall was, Titanfall is going to be the COD killer, Nero, do you agree? And it was like, you can go back to all those Dear Neros, although I look for any Dear Nero Titanfall in the title, I will tell you in every single one of them, no, it's not, we know nothing of this game, we know nothing of this developer, it's going to be a fun game, I'm sure, but by no means is it going to even come anywhere near to Call of Duty. Then, look what happened, it's day and night, Call of Duty versus Titanfall. And yeah, they're also releasing DLC for Titanfall. Unfortunately, not any of them are releasing new guns or customization to the game, which is the only thing the game really lacks. We don't lack maps in that game. We lack customization and a fun factor in that game. That's what they really need to add to it. I'm looking forward to Titanfall 2, where hopefully they address that. It's funny, though. Everyone was looking forward to Titanfall 2, like, literally a month after the game came out, because they're like, yeah, we're all kind of bored of this. But, yeah, alright, so let's say Call of Duty, right? We're to be making a final game. But I don't know, the sales numbers on Call of Duty have dwindled down from 20 million a year to 3 million a year or something like that. They're dwindled down to nothing. There's only a few of us COD commentators left here on YouTube. We're just sitting there wondering what the next Call of Duty game is going to be. Then they announced they're going to be making a game similar to Call of Duty Online. They're going to be doing some kind of best of Call of Duty game. And in this best of Call of Duty game, the entire community gets to go and vote. And they add maps from Call of Duty 4 and World at War and Modern Warfare 2 and Black Ops and Modern Warfare 3 and Black Ops 2 and Call of Duty Ghost and Advanced Warfare and Black Ops 3 and all the other freaking Call of Duty games that come out between now and the final Call of Duty game. They add a best of. They add, 10 assault rifles, 10 submachine guns, 10 light machine guns, 10 sniper rifles, 10 shotguns, and all of them being the top 10 voted ones from all the Call of Duty games that have come out. They add freaking 40 maps, I don't know, and all the maps are voted, the top 40 maps voted from all the Call of Duty games combined. Then they add 20-something kill streaks, and they're all voted from all the... That would be awesome. That would be awesome. That would be like the perfect Call of Duty game. Even if there's some maps in there. Let's say there's 40 maps. Even if there's freaking 10 of them that you don't even really care for. Who cares? There's 30 of them that were like your favorites from all the games, 10 assault rifles, 10 submachine guns. That'd be such a ridiculous amount of depth into a game. I think that'd be awesome if they were to do that, especially in this, once again, this hypothetical situation. Because over all the years, we've literally just made Activision so much freaking money. So much. Call of Duty, and everyone was saying, Call of Duty's dying, when's COD gonna die? Call of Duty has been selling 20 plus million copies every single year for like a decade. It's not going anywhere, for at least another decade. But, we put so much money in their hands. That'd be really cool if, like, the Call of Duty fan base were to dwindle down to, like, 3 million people or so, And then for, like, the final Call of Duty game, they were just, the bar no expense, put just a ridiculous amount of money into this final game, make it the best of game possibly ever, and just add, zombies, add extinction, and add Spec Ops mode. Just have, like, literally everything from every Call of Duty game all together. That would just be it. I don't care. Make it on 5 discs. I don't care. But then again, the final Call of Duty game being 10 or 15 years minimum into the future, then maybe discs by that point will actually be able to handle it. Maybe our consoles will actually be able to handle a full 1080p 60. Who knows? But regardless, that would be an awesome game, and there's something to dream about. A couple decades in the future, the final Call of Duty game being a best of one, possibly, hopefully, that'd be pretty cool. Either way, I hope you guys all enjoyed this episode of Dear Nero. And if you did, please be sure to leave a rating where you guys feel the video deserves. If you guys like to send in your guys' questions for next week's episode of Dear Nero, simply send me a personal message here on YouTube. And then there you go. Ask your question in your message, and that's how you submit your questions for next week's episode of Dear Nero. I look through them all. If I feel as though it's an entertaining question, a question I haven't really answered before, or just something I think would be a good question to have on the show, then I pick it, and there you go. And it's on that week's episode of Dear Nero. That week's episode of Dear Nero. That sounds weird, but regardless, that's how it works. So I do hope you guys all enjoyed this video, though. And if you did, please be sure to leave a rating. Hope you guys all have a wonderful day.